This is an extraordinary honor for me, and I am profoundly grateful to be invited to share this moment with you, the graduating class of 2021. This is quite obviously not a traditional graduation ceremony. Everyone is watching this on a screen, including me, which is quite odd, as I'm currently watching myself. Without workshops or studios, you still made work. At home, on kitchen tables, in bedrooms. I even talked to one artist who painted in a tent in the yard. This is not the time to seek the comfortable familiarity of the past, but rather to build and make something new. And so to all of you, my heartfelt congratulations. I would like to share a little of my personal journey with you. As a young boy, all I wanted to do was draw and make. I studied industrial design at college and started to learn about the skills particular to design. I loved my practice, and it started to help inform my sense of identity. It helped me understand how I could contribute to society and to culture. I began to think of myself as a designer rather than a shy person that couldn't read very well or speak with any confidence. As I became more preoccupied, though, with becoming a professional designer, I started to worry about an imbalance. While developing my design practice legitimized and channeled my creativity, I started to feel that my childhood dreaming and imagination was being left behind. Not to sound hopelessly dramatic, but I almost felt I was betraying the dreaming and the wondering that had really sustained me as a child. Without imagination, without profoundly new thinking and potent ideas, our practice has no purpose. There was one class that permanently changed the way I thought about the sanctity of creating. It was a sculpture class. We would sculpt and refine the plaster forms by hand using saws and rasps. But the plaster workshop was very small, and it was complete carnage. The air would become opaque with white plaster dust, and large pieces of plaster covered the floor and tables. But my teacher, Roy Morris, was absolutely brilliant. He was quiet and he was patient. And it was an important class because I learned about form and making form. Yet I dreaded the class because I was allergic to plaster dust. And despite wearing my mask, I would end up wheezing with streaming eyes, and my tongue would swell so that I sounded like Scooby-Doo when I spoke.
Scooby?
But here's the thing. While we learnt about form and proportion, Roy was really teaching us about the fundamental value of our thinking and our ideas. And this began with teaching us how to respect our own work. You see, when Roy asked us about our sculpture, he would get fantastically agitated if we ever referred to it glibly or casually. Despite the complete chaos inside the plaster workshop, he would expect us to stop what we were doing, carefully clear a small patch on the table free of plaster debris, dust and tools. We would then place our work carefully in the center and attempt a thoughtful explanation. Now, Roy also had an allergy to plaster, and it was even worse than mine. But he endured those lessons, fueled with a fierce belief in the almost sacred importance of creating. I came to learn from him that creating and thinking should always be afforded a rare respect. And this is the important thing. Always a rare respect, not only when the ideas are good, and not only if the circumstances are easy and convenient. If we make it our habit to respect our ideas and our process, we increase the probability that they will actually be good and worthy of that respect. I cannot thank him enough. My encouragement is to be committed and proactive in caring for that deep, creative part of yourself that is easily overlooked. To develop an unconditional respect for your creativity, which will sustain you during the times when the ideas are either sparse or not very good. Our professional skills develop with repetition. Our creativity develops with deep care and intention. Remember, opinions are not ideas. Opinions are not as important as ideas. Opinions are just opinions. Perhaps the most important thing I can share with you today is about curiosity. Being truly open, inquisitive, and curious has become the very basis for all that I do and how I think. Having a genuine relish for being surprised and for learning is fundamental to creating. Many of us have a natural or innate predisposition to be curious, though I have learned that after a traditional education or working in an environment with many people, it has to be a decision. It requires intent and discipline. In interactions with larger groups, many of us gravitate towards the tangible and the measurable. It is more comfortable, far easier, and more socially acceptable to talk about what is known. Of course, being curious fuels our appetite to learn. And wanting to learn is far more important than being right. Curiosity can unite us and form the basis for powerful and joyful collaborations. And crucially, the delight and joy of curiosity and learning can temper our fear of doing something completely new. Lastly, one of the wonderful consequences of being open is that you find yourself actually listening. To listen well means you need to be quiet. Great ideas can come from the quietest voice. And I really worry how many good ideas I have missed because I wasn't listening, or I couldn't hear a thing for the usual deluge of opinion. I think it would be great to resist the urge to fill every moment of every minute with opinions and to listen. So, to you, the class of 2021, to the creatives that will define our futures, to your openness and to your curiosity and to your ideas, I wish you the very, very best on your next adventures. I trust that you embrace, truly value and nurture your creativity. And I hope that you will at last be able to know the joy of collaborating in person very soon. Thank you so very much.